Hi, this is America's Pastor inviting you to stay tuned for the world's greatest boxing commentary as he continues on the road to 10,000. Now he's back at it like a crack addict, giving you boxing geekers that work. I want you to put your hands together and give him some love as we welcome the one, the only, TDub.
Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy TDub, Whatsblazing in sports. Happy Friday, guys. We are back at it like a crack at it, giving you boxing geekers this work, guys. Welcome back. All right, guys, the main topic is going to be about Canelo Alvarez, and he already fought the best at 168. He don't got to fight no Benavidez. Benavidez don't bring nothing to the table. It's like Thanksgiving time. Everybody else is bringing, I guess, peach cobbler, dressing, turkey, and Benavidez is only bringing himself. And I guess for Canelo Alvarez, that's not enough to bring to the table. Guys, yes, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I am back at it. Like a crack at it. Giving boxing geekers this work. All right. So, guys, before we get to that, man, what I want to talk about is Adrian Broner possibly taking on Conor Benn, right? We just saw Conor Benn. I mean, they hyped this Chris Algieri fighter. I mean, they was pushing it, right? Even though I would guess 99% of people knew Chris Algieri was going to get laid out, or beat for sure. I figured he's going to get knocked out. Just a matter of time. And Chris Algieri came out there, definitely not quite the self he used to be. But this is another stepping stone for Conor Benn, who I can't take nothing from him. He did his job. He showed his power, showed his skills, able to land the big shots, setting up the big shots. And people looked at that as just a simple 1-2. But in all honesty, it was a perfect 1-2 because the jab was the best thing because it actually threw a shot on the outside to get Algieri to react to it, to open up that face so he can come straight down the middle and wreck some stuff. And he did it on Chris Algieri and he got the win. But now, guys, they're talking about Conor Benn taking on Adrian Broner. Their problem. I believe they said after the fight, Adrian Broner tweeted either, I think, Eddie Hearn that, we can start talking something now. So I don't know if this is a fight that Adrian Broner wants, but I definitely feel this is a fight that Eddie Hearn wants because it is right down the table for what he has been doing with Conor Benn. And Adrian Broner might be the person to give Conor Benn that crossover eyes into the USA market. Because even though he is doing pretty good and he is known in the UK, I still feel Conor Benn, it's not that, it's outside of boxing fans, Conor Benn is not known, right? He's not beating world beaters. But even though Adrian Broner has not been consistent or stable in the boxing community, he is known. He has been selling, right? He has a mouth. He will sell the fight. Adrian Broner will sell the fight so much that even though people might not know Conor Benn, they might pull for Conor Benn to beat Adrian Broner just to shut him up. And that's what we are here to talk about right now. Will that fight happen? If it does happen, can Broner put it off? Or will Conor Benn be the first man to stop Adrian Broner? That right there would be big. Now, if Adrian Broner shows up and let his hands go, if he doesn't show up to let his hands go, I don't know if there really would be a surprise either way. If he doesn't let his hands go, I don't think it'd be a surprise. If he lets his hands go, people are like, yeah, this is what we want from you. This is what we want from you. But if Adrian Broner get knocked out, that will do very well for Conor Benn. That what Eddie Hearn will be loving. And that will be what can get that stardom kicked off of Conor Benn being fighting in the USA, getting them USA eyes and those USA views. But Eddie Hearn said something. Eddie Hearn said he really wanted Amir Khan to take that fight, and he's, I guess, kind of shamed that Amir Khan didn't take that fight with Conor Benn. And then he comes out and said Amir Khan would have been knocked out in like 2 rounds. Listen, I understand why Amir Khan didn't take that fight. Amir Khan tired of going to sleep, man. He is tired of going to sleep. Some people say a good gust of wind, if it tap that chin on a Miracom, he might go night night. You know, he's a walk around with one of them football helmets on with the bars and the chin straps. You know, just so he can survive throughout school. He rode the short yellow bus on purpose with the helmet to protect that chin. Why would Amir Khan fight Conor Ben? Listen, do you realize how much it took Kell Brook? Years it took Kell Brook to get Amir Khan to sign, and they finally had a press conference. I didn't even do a video about that yet. That we have to talk about another time. But the Adrian Broner versus Conor Ben, it's a pretty matchup. I mean, I would like to see the Broner let his hands go, but Adrian Broner at 147, he hasn't had the best record, right? Even some of the wins he pulled off, some of them have been kind of like, you know, very close, or you can argue that he might not would have or should have got the decision. And Conor Ben is that boy, he can hit strong. Still have some learning to do. I know they pushing him, but he still has some learning to do because he's not going to just be able to knock out these top welterweights like that. He's not going to be able to just knock out Errol Spence like that. Even though Terence Crawford stopped Sean Porter, even I would like to see Sean Porter versus Conor Ben, but he's retired, so you know, in case he comes out, but I doubt it, or maybe. Keith Thurman, it's not just going to work like that. He's going to need more than one trick of just coming forward, throwing big leather to try to get these guys out of there. Adrian Broner, to me, he never really was a 147-pounder. He has the skills to compete at that level, but I don't know if his power is quite the same. I would say this too. I don't think Broner, because he moved up so fast, I don't think he had time to modify his skills to adjust to the weight class. Because even when you look at Floyd Mayweather, what he done at the lighter weight classes, and then as he moved up to 147 to 154, how he fought at them weight classes, from how he fought Arturo Gatti, from how he fought Arturo Gatti to how he fought Oscar. You have to be able to modify. And I don't think Adrian Broner modified, and his style did work, but it just wasn't enough to make a complete successful career at 147. But he is, I believe, a 4-division weight champion, right? I would still like to see the fight. Listen, I want to see it. Let him get payday. Matter of fact, I would like to see Broner pull off the win. That's what I would want. I want to see Adrian Broner go out there and pull off the win, put them hands on her. Bop, bop. Bop, you know how he is. Bop, bop, turn it. I would love to see that from Broner, but let's see if the fight get made next. And they said that if they don't get Broner, I believe they were like Mikey Garcia next, or they said somebody else. I can't remember who. But listen, if Eddie Hearn trying to get Mikey Garcia in case Broner doesn't sign, Eddie Hearn trying to get Mikey Garcia destroyed. Mikey does not have the power to compete at 147. It is not there. It's like looking under the bed for something, and it's not there. He doesn't have the power, even the reach, to be able to be successful at 147 pounds, at least right now. And why would Mikey Garcia fight Conor Ben next, and he just took an L? And you're going to put him in there with Conor Ben? That means you just trying to get your money out of Mikey now. So I want to see it. Adrian Broner, Conor Ben, pretty good matchup. Let's see what happens. Guys, now let's get to it. Canelo Alvarez, I believe I still got it pulled up here. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Let's get it. Canelo Alvarez says Benavidez brings nothing for him. Claims he's already beat the #1 fighter at 168 in Callum Smith. Guys, let's see what this article has to offer. Didn't get a chance to really go through it well. I'm working at home. Finally get a chance to do a video. Let's do it. Canelo Alvarez says the unbeaten, highly ranked David Benavidez brings him nothing by fighting him, and that he's already beaten the number one super middleweight in Callum Smith. Guys, is that an excuse to duck, or is Canelo saying what's true? Right now, he is pretty much, in my opinion, if that is true, he is shutting down fighting Benavidez all together. There is nothing Benavidez can do to get the fight, even if he is mandated to fight Canelo. Canelo would most likely drop the belt for whatever they mandate him to fight, because he's already excusing him not to fight. But then I gotta ask you this: Benavidez don't bring nothing to the table. What about all these other? Did he really fight the number one person? The expert genius in the building says, salute, duck, duck, duck. Listen, man. Canelo Alvarez says the unbeaten, highly ranked Dave Benavidez brings him nothing by fighting him, that he's already beat this number one super middleweight in Callum Smith. This is what looks like the guy is just writing himself. Says Alvarez seems to be ignoring the many boxing fans who have been calling for him to take on the unbeaten Benavidez. To me, that is enough reason right there. Even if Benavidez does not have a title, what is he saying? I get to that. Even if he brings nothing, a title to the table, the people believe that Benavidez can push you. A lot of people believe Canelo just going to run through him like he's run through everybody else. But there's enough people believe that Benavidez would test Canelo. In my opinion, that is enough reason for Canelo to want to fight Benavidez, to put Benavidez on his hit list. But yet, he's moving up in weight and fighting someone that most people didn't even know existed. Most people didn't even know that he was a champion. And most people are predicting the smaller Canelo to win is it the light heavyweight division. Most people are picking him to win. That says something about the opponent. If you are a smaller man jumping up, fighting a bigger man, and you are overwhelmingly picked to win, that means they're not even giving this guy a shot in the dark. But people want to see Benavidez. See, that's interesting. That's interesting. Let's keep going. Instead of giving the fans what they want, Canelo wasted the last 3 years of his career with his superficial goals of becoming undisputed 168 pound by beating 3 British fighters and 1 American, none of which were rated highly by hardcore fans. Guy, do you agree or disagree? This is not what I'm saying. I'm reading it. And I promise you, I have not read this until right now. I just saw the title. I'm like, okay, let's get the cooking. Let's get the cooking. This is what he guys says. Canelo says he's already beat the best fighters at 168 with his victories over the following champions: Rocky Fielding, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant. And you know what? And you know what crazy? And it shows that, to me, just by those guys not unifying before Canelo came along, to me that shows that, honestly, none of them guys wanted to be tested. When I mean tested is, they didn't want to fight each other. They did not want to lose their belts, because why didn't Plant unify before then? Why didn't Saunders unify before then? Why didn't Smith unify before then? We know what happened with Benavidez, lost the title, then he fought for the vacated against Yildirim. But why didn't these guys unify? Because when the guys became champion, in my opinion, they wanted to milk the money. That's when the business side of boxing kicked in. And as long as I'm a champion, I'm entitled to this amount of money. And they did not want to unify because one of them would have lost. But when Canelo came through in 1 year, think about this, in 11 months, He went through these guys and became undisputed in 11 months. Damn not unheard of. But, let's go. Regrettable, many boxing fans view that lackluster bunch as paper champions in so many ways. I beat the number one fighter. It was Callum Smith. Hold on. Okay. I think this is, let me see. This might be directly from him. Probably what I already read. I beat the best champion in 168. Said Canelo in referring to Callum Smith. Then they say he's scared of him. Or he's scared of that guy. That sounds to me like Triple G. When they say scared of him or scared of that guy. Remember when Triple G beat Steve Rose and they asked Triple G about, hey, why not fight Demetrius Andrade? Why not fight Charlo? And Triple G was like, hey, yo, guys. If I fight Andre, then they'll say, why you ain't fight Charlo? I fight Charlo, then they'll say, why you ain't fight Andre? So, well, I don't fight neither one of them. Rocky Fielding. Hey, Canelo had a field day with Rocky Fielding. Rocky Field of Dreams. Man, look, man. Guys, here's the thing. Canelo Alvarez is a great boxer. Great boxer. But he is not taking the chances that people really want to see him take. Now, Canelo Alvarez fans are just happy with whatever he do next, right? He's conquering it. He's finna fight in a new division. People are happy that he's fighting somebody that nobody knows for a title that most people didn't even know that the guy had. Callum Smith was never number one at 168. They just made him number one when it was announced for Canelo was fighting him. Which, I mean, that shows you that they're pushing the stats of the fighters that Canelo's going to fight in order to make the win that much more greater, the accomplishment that much more greater, to mean that much more in history. But to me, guys, this is clear avoiding by Canelo. Clear. Because everyone, Floyd Mayweather, boxing channels, David Benavidez himself, and many other people want to see that matchup, right? The first time I even heard about Canelo was even going for the WBC title, because in my opinion, if Benavidez did not lose that WBC title, Canelo Alvarez would have fought for undisputed, acting under the franchise title anyway. But when Benavidez lost the WBC title, that's when they quickly jumped on top of it, jumped in the game like double dutch, and said, "Hey, we want that, and we want to fight Yildirim for that title, right?" Yildirim came out, was like another Rocky Fielding, put up a lackluster effort. Rocky Fielding was just going down with every shot that Canelo threw. But in my opinion, Canelo Alvarez, like I said, he is not. Is he getting titles at divisions? Yes. Is he fighting the best fighters at the division? No. So, when you go to 154 pounds, I think he left work on the table with Jamel Charlo, and Demetrius Andrade. At 160 pounds, he left work on the table with Jamel Charlo. It's why he got the franchise title. Demetrius Andrade, which is the biggest one. See, everybody, think about this, right? Canelo told Demetrius Andrade, you nothing. You fight nobody. You want payday. You want payday. But to be all honesty, every fighter that he fought, in order for him to unify a division in 11 months, that means each fighter he fought for a title, they wanted a payday. But that was never brought up with them guys that they wanted a payday. But at 160 pounds, when Canelo Alvarez was one belt away of being undisputed, all he had to do was fight Demetrius Andrade, who he said was nothing and only wanted a payday. They said that they offered Canelo Alvarez $40 million. $40 million! A lottery pick to fight Demetrius Andrade. He said no. Do you guys realize that Canelo Alvarez first wanted to become undisputed at 160? And then when it came down to fighting either Jamel Charlo or Demetrius Andrade, that dream was no longer a dream no more. it's like he dreamed it, and then he woke up to reality, said, no, you know what? That's just a dream. I'll leave it there. Let me go to 168 and and fight some British fighters who got the title, and he did it. You got to ask yourself, if he can do this in 11 months at 168, why didn't he do it at 160? Von D Gaming in the building. What it do, champ? Said, why am I not surprised? Yeah, man. Canelo Alvarez says that Benavidez brings nothing to the table. He says he's already beat the #1 fighter at 168 in Callum Smith. By him saying that means that he don't have to fight anyone else at 168 unless he wants to. And he doesn't want to fight Benavidez. And to me, this would be kind of sad, man, because Benavidez is arguably now, and probably was considered back then, you know, probably the best fighter, or at least the best competition that could give Canelo Alvarez a test at 168. That's not going to happen now. Most people believe at 168 that Benavidez is going to give Canelo more problems than this next fight he's going to fight a light heavyweight. That tells you a lot. And then the guy at one, I can't think of a name, light heavyweight, he's like, oh, thank you for the opportunity. Oh, thank you. I'm like, oh, man. He taking the check. He finna give that belt up for the check, man. He finna give it up for the belt. I mean, for the check. So to me, that I don't have any faith in this being the next tough fight. The guy make it look good for a few rounds. Then Canelo's gonna break him down, go into his body, come up top, and I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo get a knockout stoppage. I don't think many people would get surprised if Canelo get a knockout stoppage in a new division. But still, people will want to see Benavidez versus Canelo. Now, I'm not saying Canelo can't beat Benavidez. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people that want to see that. And that is enough reason right there alone for Canelo to want to fight David Benavidez. But for some reason, he don't want that smoke. He got the no smoke patch on. And he said, listen, I got the no smoke patch on, and I've been, you know, I'm glad I broke that habit. I don't want that smoke. But let's get it. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Fans would have been more impressed with Canelo fighting a cruiserweight if he... Oh, you know, I thought about it. Now, that cruiserweight made me think. Now, Usyk flirted with, he would go down to cruiserweight to fight Canelo for the heavyweight title. Guys, I am hoping that if something like that ever happened, I am hoping that Usyk does not take the money just for the money. Because in all honesty, Usyk should beat Canelo. I mean, Usyk should be, just because of the size and the power. And Usyk being a bigger version of an Erislandy Lara, more punches. If Lara should have got the win or a draw against Canelo, Usyk, if that happens, guys, like I'm just saying, man, I don't know if they're gonna get there, but if that happened and Usyk actually fights like to actually win, that movement, that reach, that pop of Usyk, unless Canelo gives him like, you know, like a 5-pound rehydration clause or something stupid like that, you know, like something crazy. That he can't come into the fight 5 pounds more than what he weighed in. I don't know, man. But, guys, there you have it. I got to finish back at work. Somebody sent me something a little while ago, and I know I got to get to it. That's the news. If you missed the first part, talked about Adrian Broner versus Conor Ben a little bit. Happy weekend, guys. I do not know if I'm going to be able to cover fights tonight because I got to do this Christmas thing. I'm going to the Lake of Ozarks, and I'm trying to really figure out how can I do it. You know, they got all this family activity, and I really want to call these fights. I just don't know if I can do it. There's so much going on. You know, Jake Paul fighting, Brown fighting. There's a lot of fights going on. Parker to Soar fighting. I want to see them all. I want to catch them all. I just don't know if I can because I'm going to be out of town, and they're pushing me to be part of the family and do it. If If I can, you know I'll be live. If not, I'll be back at it like a crack addict, giving you boxing geekers this work.